So time frame from the fire to COVID, the fire was on November 8 of 2018, and then COVID hit March of 2019. We were mid-recovery trying to gain traction, and then COVID shut everything down again. So it was kind of a double blow for the Paradise Church. Do you just sort of stall out and then resume when things get back to normal? Or do you say, what we only know is what is? So how do we serve and minister and connect in the midst of what is? We certainly switched into where are our people? Of the Paradise Church members, 390-ish houses burned. Basically, you're reactionary.
There were two children, actually three, but two children in this family that used to come and visit us. They were neighbors about a quarter mile down the street. And when the fire happened, we took them out of the fire, and their dad and grandma were deceased in the fire. So they ended up staying with us because there was really no one else that could take them.
They bring joy and they bring strife. We're old, they're young, and that makes a big difference.
There's a reason that God did this. He's taught me a lot of patience. He's taught me, believe it or not, parenting skills that I never had before.
Yeah, I think leadership in the midst of crisis has to be embedded in the reality that is, and then actively trying to read the current of what will be and trying to position. It's not a time to fall asleep at the wheel.
Well, one of the things you start to realize, some more quickly than others, is we make the best decisions we can with the information we have. And there isn't always the grace that you would like in recognizing that the best decision was made when the decision had to take place.
With the recovery, it goes beyond religion. It went into a collaboration of, doesn't matter if you're non-denominational, doesn't matter if you're atheist, doesn't matter if you're Seventh-day Adventist Christian. People wanted to make sure that people were taken care of, and that is so beautiful. I don't think Paradise, especially our church here, would be in the situation that it is right now if it weren't for the love of Chico and that support of the people there and a lot of the surrounding communities who really looked out for us.
Early on, we created high values. Number one was worship and gathering points. This is post-fire. So we gathered and worshiped with the Chico Church family, high value. Next on our hit list was keep the schools functioning and back in classrooms. So the adaptive school paradigm happened down in Chico, and renovations of what was left of the school campus was immediately begun.
They told us we were going to go back to school right after Thanksgiving. And my first thought was, you want me to do what 3 weeks after we lose everything? And so we did get back to teaching, and when they first told us, I thought it was a terrible idea, but when I got back into the classroom and my students came, it was the best thing for us all to see that we were all okay.
I was teaching middle school. I am 7th and 8th grade. That's already a tumultuous time of life. I mean, there's no normal days with that. And then under the setting, they didn't know the area, they didn't know the routine. There is no routine. Yeah, it was hard. Their emotions, taking care of them emotionally, became my goal.
We started, in my class, how are you doing today? Are you up? Are you down? And we supporting each other. And a lot of our activities were about sharing our experiences and encouraging each other.
When COVID hit, I not only didn't have that material, I didn't have the classroom, I didn't have the direct interaction with the students, and my style of teaching is very interactive. And now we're using a medium that I was told when I first started my first year of teaching was going to replace teachers. I depended on the young teachers. They would say, we can help you with this, Mr. Vixie. Here's the support. Technologically, you can do this. But also the students. The students wouldn't give up. They didn't say, oh, yay, Mr. Vixie doesn't know how to do this. We aren't going to do it. They would try and teach me. They'd say, Mr. Vixie, if you'll just do this. If I'm on here and if something was going wrong, I would just say to my students that are on their little boxes there, I can't seem to make this work. Mr. Vixie, share your screen. And they would get me through the thing. And they became my teacher.
Our team was looking for the greatest needs on the community, and we drove by a trailer and met a lady who was on dialysis but had nowhere to store her medical equipment and supplies inside her travel trailer, and it was raining. She needed a shed. So the idea was, let's build 10 sheds. Then Maranatha came on board and said, let's build 100 sheds. And then it turned into 450 sheds with still like another 400 people on a waiting list wishing that they could have sheds.
Church members and volunteers throughout the state, it was actually throughout the nation. People drove and flew to get here to help. So there were hundreds of volunteers that helped. But it was nice that we could be the responsible party for giving back after our church had received so much in the way of donations and goods after the fire. The goods continued to come our way. So it was nice to be able to coordinate the sharing.
Giving of yourself and your time, and it kind of, all the other problems tend to fade away. So it is, I think God has made us that way. And when we do that, we tend to get healing ourselves.
Instead of the monument to the church being a building that we meet in right now, the physical record of our church's existence is all over town in the 450 sheds that you drive by on almost every street in town. And so what you're seeing right now is the fruition of that real strategic thinking in spite of COVID. And that is that the Paradise Church is still alive and well. This elementary school is still alive and well. The academy is still alive and well. The school campus has been completely restored, what was left of it, and now we're moving into the church rebuild process at the same time as continuing to serve the community.
Steve's idea to do Church Under the Oaks was brilliant. You know, we put up our little gazebo, we met outside. Everybody wore masks. We did social distancing. The people that remained here, church members, became much more involved. You know, people that, particularly a lot of young people that had not been that involved, became very involved. I mean, they became our church leaders.
So there have been so many positives that have come out of the experience post-fire. I wouldn't wish this on anybody, but I wish everybody could experience this kind of community and focus and purpose.
One of the big takeaways is the reality that ministry and the church is about people, not buildings. Because we're living in a reality where the church campus burned down entirely. But yet, some would say that the church has never been stronger in Paradise than it is now. So, solidly landing on the idea that it's about people.